Yeah, we're using my phone camera again. I'm going with it because I wanted to talk face to face about this issue. And if you if you see me and it looks like I'm glancing away from the camera, it's because I'm looking at a script and trying to monitor audio at the same time. Anyway, trust and believe, the regularly scheduled gameplay footage will be coming back. For now, we'll see how this goes. I know I'm incredibly late. I mean, we're now 3 full days into this, but I didn't say nearly what I wanted to say during my unscripted mess on August 12th. So take this video as something for those who live under a rock and don't actually look at any actual news. Yeah, I don't have anything further that's clever for an opening, so we're just going to jump into it. As of the time of writing, which is August 13th, 2025, I mean, technically I finished the third revision of this script a couple minutes ago, but that's neither here nor there. YouTube and several other big-name companies began the testing phase of its new AI-assisted verification model. This was implemented to help prevent minors from accessing age-restricted content on the platform. It's always about the kids when something serious like this pops up. If that were the case, then let me tell you, people like Schlepp would be still catching people on Roblox who end conversations with "don't tell your parents." But it's not about catching creeps on the internet. It's about making sure people old enough to understand the consequences of political involvement can't speak out against future decisions the government is going to make. In my opinion, it's not the place of the government to make any sort of decisions on what kids can and can't see on the internet. The parents should be the ones policing what kids watch or play in their own home. Nothing good can come from allowing the government, or big tech for that matter, to parent your children. I'm getting off topic now, though. We don't need our tinfoil hats just yet. Let's discuss how AI verification works. For starters, several factors are taken into consideration. First, your account is checked for longevity. How long was the account actually open, not how old is the person who owns the account. Then your search history and your viewing history. What kind of topics are you searching for on YouTube, and what kind of videos are you watching as a result of those searches? In the case of YouTube creators, your upload history. What kind of content are you uploading to the platform, and what kind of games are you playing, or what kind of content are you uploading to the platform? This is why I do gameplay videos, because I prefer overdubbing because I trip up so much. So, what happens if you get flagged? Well, your account becomes restricted. I mean, you're restricted to a teenager account in the case of YouTube. Looks like you're no longer able to look at those naked yoga classes, so you might as well put that box of Kleenex down. And so much for your Joe Rogan podcast on Spotify. Looks like you're going to have to find your hippie uncle and listen to him talk about what it's like to get high in a deprivation chamber. You're prompted to take a break every few hours. You're prompted to go to bed at a certain time. Just you're restricted, and advertisements no longer become personalized. That last bit about advertisements is a bit of a problem because it's already been shown that YouTube itself has a problem with its advertisement moderation. I mean, you're able to see all kinds of nasty shit on a YouTube ad versus actual YouTube. On the creator side of things, it's a little bit more detailed, but we can let this email kind of sort things out for you, and we'll break that down a little later. And who better to tell us about this email than the recipient, CerosTV.
So what I couldn't do, because I was uploading videos, because I make a lot of videos a day, I was uploading videos and it says how this impacts your channel. I wasn't able to do a lot of uploads. Every day I can upload 50 videos. I figured out the limit because one day I uploaded 50 videos and scheduled them for my channel. You won't be able to do things like get higher daily limits for live streams, shorts, and daily and video uploads. So for live stream part, that means I couldn't stream for, I think it was 20 hours or something of that nature. Maybe it was 12 hours. Not really sure. I don't stream that long, so that wasn't a thing. I couldn't do embedded live streams. Don't even know what that means. But pin comments, that was a big thing. I love pinning comments. That's important. And add external links to your video descriptions.
For someone who lives almost exclusively off the YouTube partnership program, which I hope isn't a lot of us anymore, this is a huge punch in the chin. A lot of growing your brand has to do with networking, other forms of social media, and other forms of like donation websites in the description. I mean, I won't lie, this looks pretty bleak having your access limited like this, but it's all's not lost, you know? There are ways that you're going to be able to fix this. First, you can build positive channel history by following the YouTube community guidelines. You can upload a picture of your photo ID or driver's license. These are all great options, aren't they? So I can do absolutely nothing to fix the problem that I didn't even know I had in the first place and allow it to fix itself, or I can give a corporation my face to fix the problem for me. Yeah, that sounds about par for the course. And AI, I don't think, is working very well to begin with, not with this ID verification stuff. So, let's examine this email that I lifted from CerosTV's actual video. For starters, CerosTV uploads up to twice a day, every day, and has done so for quite a while, with his total uploads adding up to almost 1,200. The email states he doesn't have enough channel history. If 1,200 uploads isn't enough for channel history, then I'm absolutely cooked. I mean, clearly the guy has a significant enough channel history for him to not have to put his ID up on YouTube. Granted, they could also be talking about how long the account has been open, like I mentioned earlier. Age of the account versus age of the person who created it, and all that. As you can see, though, the wording in this email is really vague. The sentence, "This may have happened because your channel didn't follow our community guidelines," reads exactly like they don't know or don't want to give out a valid reason, which strikes me as both, like I said, incredibly vague and incredibly shady. It almost reads like an email telling you that your PC has malware, and to fix it, you need to send off your social security your social security number and your mother's maiden name to go ahead and get this problem handled. The second line, and probably honestly the only other one that we're going to look at, is this option may not be available for some users. So what that's telling me is that I could be hit with this. I could be hit with, an age verification issue and not be able to upload anything to even get my channel unrestricted. That's problematic. That's not going to work. It's not going to fly at all. I mean, I'd have no idea why, and I'd have like I said, no way to restore my channel without playing the waiting game. As mentioned in the opening, YouTube isn't the only company doing this. YouTube is just the jump-off point for my research, so the biggest chunk of the video went there, outside the point where I start, talking crazy. We'll get there. The federal government has been applying pressure to all kinds of social media companies to use some form of ID verification ever since Texas won the Supreme Court case dictating the ban of access to pornographic websites to individuals under the age of 18. YouTube's just the biggest one in the crosshairs right now. Spotify is working with digital age verification company Yoti to verify ages with AI, and X/Twitter has developed its own proprietary AI to do much the same, which is being powered by Grok, Musk's answer to ChatGPT and Google's Gemini. So you may be asking yourself, why is all this happening now? Well, 4 years ago, Australia implemented the first iteration of the Online Safety Act, which you can imagine wasn't received very well. This is actually the first time I'm hearing of it because I wasn't looking too deep into it until this video started its process. Then in 2023, the UK rolled out their version of the Online Safety Act, which further tightened restrictions. This resulted in 300 arrests over the past 2 years for everything from criticizing the handling of murders by the UK government to just suggesting a riot. Here's some stuff I pulled off of the actual Online Safety Act website from the UK. By the 17th of March 2025, it was added to that social media platforms have a legal duty to protect their users from illegal content online. Okay, that's understandable. Nobody wants to see CSAM pop up on their feed by accident, even if it is only an accident. By July 25th, the clause platforms have a legal duty to protect children online. Platforms are now required to use highly effective age assurance to prevent children from accessing pornography or content which encourages or eating disorder content. Platforms must also prevent children from accessing harmful and age inappropriate content such as bullying, hateful content, and content which encourages dangerous stunts or ingesting dangerous substances. Platforms must also provide parents and children with clear and accessible ways to report problems online when they do arise. Only half of that really matters. The chunk that says platforms must also provide parents and children with clear and accessible ways to report problems online when they do arise. That's the part that matters to me. That's the only thing that I care about. All of this needs to be falling onto the parents. The parents need to be policing what their kids say, and do online. No, as soon as the child is able to talk, hey, here's an iPad. Fuck yourselves. So, what can we do to hopefully combat this? A. Cancel our mainstream social media and start using ad blockers in alternative social media. B. Put a picture of Clippy up as our profile picture. C. Grumble about it and keep on scrolling. Or D. All of the above. If your answer was both A and B, you're cooking with gas. Removing your usage of these sites are going to hit a whole lot harder than just performing acts B and C. Complaining about these things but still using the content aggregators is doing nothing more than continuing the shaky symbiotic relationship that these services have with their users. That's not the answer, even though honestly, that's probably what's going to happen. I don't see anyone fully cutting YouTube off at the knees to head over to Odysee. Hell, I'm not even sure if I'm going to do that myself. Mainstream social media is so ingrained in our everyday life that cutting it off is practically removing the needle from your arm. However, in the case that you do decide that alternative social media is what you want, there's all kinds of alternative platforms. I mean, just for YouTube, you can move over to Odysee, Rumble, Dailymotion, Vimeo, and this one called Dtube, but I don't see. I went and visited Dtube. There was no video feed. Nobody popped up on there. But that's just to name a few. You can go over to, if you're on Twitter, you can go over to BlueSky, and there's Pixelfed and Mastodon for Instagram and Facebook respectively. Hell, there's even Spacehey, which is an alternative for MySpace, which has been dead for, I don't know how long. I'll compile a small list of links down below just on the off chance that you watch this video and do decide that, like I said, that alternative social media is the way to go. I personally have created both a Mastodon and a BlueSky account to post to, which is going to solve my lack of social media issue for my video sharing platforms. Hey, give me a follow. Links down below. Now, you may have noticed that I have unearthed a relic in that multiple choice test when I mentioned Clippy, so we'll touch on him very, very briefly. Clippy was supposed to be a personal assistant in Microsoft Office 97, lasted all the way up through 2004, but Clippy was more of a nuisance than anything else. By the end of Windows XP's life cycle, Clippy was terminated due to user complaint. He would just pop up unannounced, and all he wanted to do was help. Since the advent of two separate problems, Clippy has become a symbol of protest, representing useless software add-ons and the phrase, if buying isn't only owning, then piracy isn't theft. People are tired of companies who take and give back even less than what they take. And it was only a matter of time. I mean, what, did they think that we weren't gonna bitch? So, what are the consequences of this being allowed? Well, this is the point where I put the tinfoil hat on and we start visualizing a little bit. For starters, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if this is entirely applicable, but this is the point where speculation comes into play. All companies have some form of data retention policy in place for record-keeping purposes. Just on the off chance legal issues do arise and there's some sort of litigation or arbitration that needs to take place. That, I know, is fact. Whether or not the 6-second video or the ID picture counts under the idea of, or under data retention policy, I'm not entirely too sure about. Well, in the case that it is, this company officially has your face and or your ID. What happens if there is a data leak? Well, all of a sudden, some random person is able to buy your face off of the internet and use it in either deepfakes or to circumvent all the AI verification that's going on. So sit down and think about this. Back to the deepfakes part of things. A video pops up of you saying every single racial epithet under the book, and every single offensive thing, just every single offensive thing, period, in the book. A video of you saying that, on the off chance that they have your voice, of course. But you didn't say a single one of those things. And at face value, the AI generated version of you looks almost indistinguishable from the real thing. We're getting there. We are getting there. Look at Google's VO3 AI. It's making people that are almost indistinguishable from an actual person. What you have to look for is, exaggerated mouth movements. When they're talking, when they start saying things, stuff like this. Yeah, mouth movements that are entirely too wide, that don't entirely look human enough, but that's slowly being improved on. And what of the government? The government. Yes, we're gonna go there. Our tinfoil hats are all the way on now. What of the government? They have the face behind the username. Soon you won't be able to say anything critical of the government without people showing up with handcuffs to escort you to a federal prison. Red won't be able to criticize blue. Blue won't be able to criticize red. That's all going to depend on, who's in power at that point in time. Let's also theorize the offensive, or the criminal repercussions of you saying these things too. At first, it'll be a 3-tier system. First offense for using harmful speech on the internet will be a $500 fine or up to 30 days in jail. Second offense will be a $1,000 fine or up to 45 days in jail. Repeat offenders will face a fine of up to $15,000 and up to 60 days in jail, all for saying something the government didn't like. I mean, at first it will be a misdemeanor of some sort, and then it eventually it will escalate to the point of being a felony. Hello, this is Justin from the future, post recording and all that. A friend of mine raised an excellent point with ID verification and whatnot. Okay, so RFK is suggesting that, all autistic children and adults be put on a list and categorized and whatnot, which is not something I agree with. But he also made the fair point that, by your search history, you could also be categorizing, autistic adults with this ID verification stuff. Like, he just wants, and I quote, he just wants a safe place to watch the Super Mario Bros. TV show in peace. And I can't be mad at that. He also wanted me to give you guys a nice, good, fuck autism speaks. So, I can agree with that. Hopefully, you don't ever have to see post-nap pizza roll Justin ever again. I see everybody just giving in and giving it up, and everybody wants to equate all of this to 1984, but personally I think we've been stuck in Brave New World. Same concept, same idea, totalitarian dictatorship, all that shit, removal of rights from the highest in the class system all the way down. The only difference is in 1984 they cracked down with an iron fist, whereas in a Brave New World they placate everybody by allowing them to fight for non-issues. Well, behind the scenes, under the blankets, they're yanking away everything that you consider a basic human right. Your right to privacy, your right to speech, all that. I mean, hell, we even have the hallucinogenic tranquilizer Soma in the form of a like button. But what do I know? For now, I'm gonna close off the video. Thank you all so much for watching. Personally, I don't give a rat's ass if you click the thumbs up on this button. I do care if you share it though. I'd actually much rather you share it. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and try to build up these new accounts I just created, and I might start something up on Odysee. I don't know if I'm gonna get that tonight. I'll see you guys all later. Sleep well.